Hello folks and welcome to Aston Answers. I'm Daniel Martin, partner here at Aston Digital. Today we have a slightly different show for you. I'm going to run through the top 5 things that can go wrong when using AI or artificial intelligence for your marketing content. This is not a question that's been sent in. This is something that we've observed people doing over the last couple of years, and we've seen some real crackers that certainly make us giggle anyway in the background. These top 5 things are things that we have actually observed. These haven't been garnered from some internet list somewhere. We've seen this happen in real life multiple times, and I'm sure when you look deeply, you will see the same thing. You may say, well, that doesn't really matter very much. It does if you're writing blogs or anything that actually matters to be read. Often AI will produce some great sounding content for you, but it won't get all of the info in that snippet completely correct. So it may actually talk about something that, for example, isn't relevant in your geographical region, or perhaps it's not relevant in your industry, or it's just flat out wrong. If you don't proofread that content and you just stick it straight up, you will find you're talking about the wrong thing. And it becomes immediately obvious to the viewer or the reader that you've used AI to produce this, and at the very least you look like a bit of a dill. So incorrect information is a big one. Make sure you proofread anything that you get AI or our good old friend ChatGPT to produce for you. This is a favourite one of mine. AI and ChatGPT don't always use correct grammar, correct language, correct spelling, and they often love to use emojis. So if you look at social media posts, some that are laden with emojis, often the emoji starting in the headline, so the first line of the post or the blog article, you'll often see an emoji at the start of that sentence and at the end. 9 times out of 10, that's been written by ChatGPT. It always does it. So if you don't want to look like you've been using ChatGPT, delete those emojis. But the really big one here is grammatically and spelling, so grammatically and then the use of words, you need to read that stuff properly. Couple of key areas where it will fall over for you. Firstly, branding, it will sound like it's not you, and that's a big deal. Secondly, your geographic region, a really simple one is if you're using British English, it will use American English and there'll be Z's through everything instead of S's. You need to pick up on that stuff. Again, it comes down to proofreading. ChatGPT or AI is very powerful, but make sure you proofread what's been produced to check for grammatical errors, language errors, or just flat out overuse of emojis. This is becoming more and more prevalent, but you have to really pay attention to what you're looking at online to notice it. People are using AI image generators. Now, there's no issue with this fundamentally, but the problem is it produces incorrect images, much the same way it produces incorrect words. You may see examples where people have, 6 or 7 fingers on the hand. The hand is a very common one for AI to stuff up. Often eyes, if they're generating a person's face, the eyes will be too far apart or it'll look just a little bit weird. Or on the odd occasion, you'll see a foot sticking out of somewhere it shouldn't be sticking out of, or something utterly bizarre like that. Using AI to generate images can be immensely powerful when you need to fill out a piece of content. Maybe it's social posts, maybe it's blog articles, it could even be some sort of PDF or manual that you're creating. AI can make images that illustrates a point really well, so don't discard it, but make sure you check those images really well, because it almost always creates errors in it, and you need to correct those errors. Sometimes you correct those errors yourself by going back to the AI and saying, hey, fix this. Other times you need to stick it into Photoshop and fix it yourself. So watch out for those errors in the images. They'll bite you when you're not looking. AI is not good with branding. It's not good with branding because it's not a real human. Obviously, we like to think that AI is pretty powerful and can almost be as good as a human, but it doesn't have cognitive ability. And when you think about it, branding all comes down to cognitive ability. The way people interpret brands is done in such a way that AI could never emulate that. If you take, for example, text written on a page, that text could be the same word, but as soon as you change the font, the brand has a different meaning. And certainly the words that are written in those texts with that font has a different meaning. AI won't pick that up. By contrast, a human will. When they read that, they say, hang on, that means this, or no, that means this. If you think of the words like, I know what you did last summer, write that in a pretty font, and it's a couple of girls having a laugh about the thing they did last summer. By contrast, you turn that into a gothic font, and all of a sudden it sounds like a horror movie. simple font change, words are the same, AI won't pick that up. So when you're producing content using AI, make sure you check it for branding because AI simply doesn't know how to do it. This one I love because it happens all the time and people don't pick it up. When you use AI to generate content, it doesn't have a particularly well-bounded field within which to create that content. In other words, if you ask it to write a post about a particular thing, your product or service, it may often reference your competitors' brands, products, name, or even their website in producing that content because it believes, oh, well, that's relevant to the thing that you're talking about. If you don't proofread it, next minute you're going to be producing something talking about how good your competitors are. It looks ridiculous. So that whole thing about picking up industry standards, it's great, but you need to make sure it's not talking about your competitors' stuff. It's a really, really simple one to check. All you have to do is proofread it, but make sure you do because you don't want to be posting stuff about your competition on your own page. And there you have it. Top 5 things that can go wrong when using AI to produce your marketing content. I hope you found a few snippets in there, a few helpful things that can avoid you looking like a bit of a deal online. Put some of these to good use, and we'll catch you at the next one.